All right, sitting here in the Mayweather Boxing Club with man that's big in the news right now, Stitch Duran. First of all, Stitch, thanks for taking a couple of moments. First thing I'd like to ask you about, you're far and away the most famous cutman ever been in the sport, but are you surprised at how much the fans have gotten behind you and backed you and gone to Reebok and gone to UFC and let them know their support for you and their displeasure?
You know, it's a mind-blowing experience, and I was just telling Jeff Mayweather, you know, my adrenaline has been like sky high for all the support that I'm getting throughout the world. Not only through the fans, but the media, everybody, the fighters, the trainers, everybody's coming forward and sticking up for me and giving me this support. But you know, I feel like what I did was nothing wrong. I think something had to be said at that point, at least for the cutman, because listen, I got to take care of my family, and if they were not going to give us sponsorship monies and wanted us to wear Reebok, to me, on a business aspect, that doesn't make sense, and that's what I relayed in the interview, and I got bashed because of that.
Well, if you had any doubt, is that squashed all that? Because I think I read literally one negative comment of about 2,000, comments supporting you, and one against you. So does that kind of, reinforce what you said?
Oh no, absolutely. And Vitor Belfort called me today, and he said, Stitch, we all get negative responses. It's part of the game, right? You got to learn how to take them. And but no, if one, that's fine. There's been thousands and thousands. I co-hosted MMA Junkie Radio yesterday, and within 2 hours there was like 26,000 tweets that had my name in it. And they're talking about just what happened.
And never in a million years did you think that a cutman would be getting that kind of attention?
No, never at all. And I'm getting offers. I'm getting some major offers from major companies, and it's been real crazy. And I told him, I said, look, man, let the dust settle. Let's talk next week. And, I'm definitely going to be doing something. But, Ray Seffel was one of my good friends. And when I did the first WSOF with them, to help them out. And the UFC suspended me for like 5 fights. And I asked them why. And they said because I gave the company credibility. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to take care of the fighters. But Ray Seffel was one of the first guys who called me, and they're doing a show August the 1st. And I told him, you know what, I'm in. I owe you that out of respect. So I'll be working that show.
Do you think the UFC, they didn't expect this kind of backlash they get from this? Because you have, ever since the start, and Reebok too themselves, because they put all this money in here, but they've gotten backlash because basically it seems like it's helping the UFC, but not anybody else like yourself and the fighters.
Right, no, exactly. They definitely didn't expect that, and as one guy says, you know what, they picked on the wrong guy. And me just sticking up for myself and for the cutman, didn't know that I was representing everybody throughout the world. I think all these fans that are responding are fans that wanted to respond all along. They just needed a forum to voice their opinion on, and I think I supplied them with that forum.
What do you think just about the how this has affected yourself and the fighters? I mean, Reebok does put a lot of money into the brand, so they want the promotion, but at the same time, it's affecting so many other people who aren't able to make their money. So it seems like it's benefiting UFC and Reebok, but the fighters, people like you, cutmen, are getting kind of hosed in the deal.
Well, that's why I spoke up, because I've worked corporate America for 23 years. I understand business. Plus, I'm not dumb. I've been doing this forever, right? And to me, if it didn't make dollars, it didn't make sense. And for them really not even to consider us, put us into the equation, into that budget, to me was very disrespectful. And respect is the only thing we want.
I know have you been able to speak to any other cutman? I mean, I'm sure they're keeping quiet. They have their own problems. But have you received support or talked to any of those guys?
Every one of them. They've all been very supportive because they know I came up to bat for them. And, I'm not going to be with the UFC anymore, but if somehow Reebok and the UFC realizes that what I said was right and these guys get compensated for wearing Reebok, then I feel real good that I'm the one that instrumented that.
You've been involved in boxing way before MMA. You've been around the sport for a long, long time. But now, whether you go to World Series of Fighting or wherever you work, you're not going to have the platform you had in UFC, or at least the visibility, I should say. Does that bother you in any way?
No.
That because you obviously worked without the limelight before, so you're kind of
No, you know what? I think these companies that I work with, and I've gotten calls from every company, right? And it just gives me the opportunity to go help these guys out. But I think on the marketing aspect, they're going to be more than willing to to put me on their limelight because it's going to help them. I think the fans are going to support these organizations because I'm going to be there supporting them also. So, I'm not concerned. Listen, I just finished doing that Creed movie with Stallone and Michael B. Jordan coming out in November. So it's not like I'm going to miss it because I'm still in the mix. And then I'm doing boxing. I'm working with Baby Chumanov when he fights BJ Flores Saturday. And so, I'm not out of the game by any means.
Did you say? I mean, most of the fighters I think are not happy with the deal. For the most part, they're not going to say anything, fear their job. Same thing as the other cutmen. But how do you feel that? So you're kind of like the guy that maybe is setting the wheel in motion for showing that this deal is not going to work out. So, I mean, do you like being kind of, I don't know, martyr is not the right word, but
well, the name martyr was thrown out. The Stitch is a martyr, but martyrs end up killing themselves or dying. That's not what I do. But I think I'm a leader in what I've always been a leader, and I think what I've done is like my son said yesterday. He said, "Dad, it's a firestorm in social media." And you're the one that lit the match. And I think that's probably the best analogy out there. And, the intentions were not definitely what's happening now. It was just for me to voice my opinion and to be heard. And I guess I'm being heard now.
Any regrets for...
No, it just, not working in the UFC it hurts. Everybody's my friend in the industry. The fighters, working with these fighters, but... Vitor Belfort says, Stitch, when I fight, I want you to be my cutman. So, maybe that opens up better opportunities for me instead of, getting paid with the money that the UFC was giving me and no compensation. Well, I can make that up with the fighters paying me directly.
Then just real quick to finish up, ultimately, do you think that something does happen, that this can't go on like this, that there's going to have to be adjustments made with this contract or any kind of other commercial endorsements going forward?
You're talking about with the UFC and Reebok?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always said, I think I'm a marketing savant. Everything I've done from point A to point to now, I've marketed myself. But on the marketing aspect, I would sit down with Reebok and the UFC and say, you know what, the fighters don't like the uniforms, the fans don't like the uniforms. Maybe we ought to tweak it. Let's sit down and let's reevaluate the process and maybe let's redo it again. That's what I would do if I was the CEO of any company.
Last questions. Do you think this opens the door for other organizations, whether it be World Series of Fighting, Bellator, or new promotion, whatever, to kind of, maybe rise up and rival UFC in terms of popularity because this is so unpopular with the fighters there?
Absolutely. It has to help them. Definitely not going to hurt them, especially with, the organizations that have called me. They're all good people. And I think, it's definitely not going to hurt them at all.
And then, you never say never. Any chance this gets resolved and we see you back in the octagon at some point, taking care of people if everything gets worked out? I
would love to. That's always been my ultimate goal. I help establish the system of the cutman, and my goal is obviously, I would love it. For me, there's no hard feelings. It's just I stated what I thought was the right thing. I got a backlash on that, but I'm the kind of guy where, boom, you got to take a shot and then come right back. So, if they call me and want to sit down and talk with me and, get me back into the UFC, it would have to be under different terms, no doubt about it. But I think I deserve that respect.
All right, man. Well, best of luck to you. I think we'll see you at the World Series of Fighting here shortly. I think, didn't we see on one of the PBC cards a couple days ago?
No, I didn't do that one.
I saw you somewhere.
I don't know. So many fights. I do so many fights. Listen, I'm not lacking for work by any means. And as a matter of fact, I've given up a lot of good boxing events. I pay more than the UFC because I was committed to the UFC on their shows already booked. So now maybe this gives me more opportunity to go out there and work with more boxers. So I'm available, man. So you guys need a good cut, man? Give me a call.
All right, man. Appreciate it, Stitch.
Thanks.